This is all a good movie, bro.
The break B. I gone inside now, and the man said, so you've been hand selected to be in the new Will Smith movie. It's not called show art. It's called show business. Right? And a lot of us want to do show art.
You found out about you having cancer from Google? As you were saying.
What do you mean learn to walk again? What am I about to go through? He says, well, you have kidney cancer. We're going to need to remove your kidney right away because you're at stage 3A. You're on death's doorstep. But from the second I came out and spoke about it, it made me realize, wait, what you were looking for in a Black Caribbean man to talk about this experience is you are now him. I pushed my mother into an oven and push a button and watch her body burn. After being in the hospital with her, feeding her ice chips, being in an ambulance, watching her take her last breath. I want to talk about it because our food is important, what we eating. Our minds are important, what we thinking. Our mouths are important, what we saying. So you work hard, you get all the money, you did all of that, but you sacrificed your happiness along the way. And I think a lot of us sacrifice our happiness for these goals, miss adding to the tool belt of yourself, and all of a sudden wake up one day unable to enjoy it physically, and then now what?
Life is happening now.
It is happening now.
My name is Matthew Future, and I'm the creator and host of Gems from Friends podcast. If you're new here, welcome to season 5, and make sure you check out the past seasons. If you're returning, thank you so much for your support. However, if you're not subscribed yet, please do so and click on the notification bell. It does a lot for this channel and for the other content creators in Barbados. Thank you, and I hope that you enjoy this episode. So the person in front of me today is an actor, creative director, Bajan, living in New York City, right?
Yeah.
I want to welcome Sean Fields.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thanks for coming through.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having
So
me.
we got Sean here for a couple. Actually, you're here for like what, a week?
Yeah.
Just for crop over.
Well,
For the other things.
I came in to see Caleb and go to the beach, and crop over just so happened to be at the same time.
You sure you didn't plan it that way?
There was no planning, actually. It was last week, Wednesday. I had a little bit of a medical scare, and I was already on a tough emotional week. And Thursday had a long day speaking to doctors.
Right.
And when I got the all clear, probably about 6:30, flight bought.
Right.
And I was like, yeah, I gone. I need to go home right now. And just rest.
Right.
Go to the beach every day, get my melanin black, like just.
You can't lose it, man.
Nah, but listen, up there I just turn too light. I just
Right.
sometimes do this with my hand and just be like, nah, you're too close. So now I'm like, yeah, this is a good contrast. I like this.
All right. So I want you to give the community some more context on like, okay, so you born and raised in Barbados, and when you moved to the States.
So the first time was on my birthday, my 7th birthday, August 18th, 1979. So we moved then. We came back when I was 12. I went to school at Pres. So I went to St. Cyprian's first, then I went to school at Pres, then went back to America for high school, did high school in America, did university in America. Then after both, like in my high school, they give you a guidance counselor. First day of the school year, they ask you, what do you want to do when you graduate, right? Last day of the school year, they ask you the same thing. They do this for 4 years to see your growth. You might say at the end of 4 years, Mr. Fields, Sean, you said the same thing all 4 years. I said, yeah, move back to Barbados. I didn't want no parts. I wanted to be gone. So
He was consistent with that.
I was consistent. Get out of Dodge. And so after high school, I went to university there and went to work in corporate. And then, just looked at where my life was going to go going forward. And I was 28. Do I want to stay in America and go on this trajectory or go back home and go by the beach and live? And so I was like, yeah, I came home. And that was it. Came home, open my business here, you know. And I think that was the opportunity to connect with a lot of people like yourself and so many others that I've established 20 plus year long standing great relationships with people that feels amazing.
What business it was?
So I came back and I started a company called Icon Design. Before I started that, I went to work for a small advertising agency here, Lee Miller Advertising, sorry. Then left from him. At the time, Devin Griffith, GNA, was there. So he was the head creative there, and he was who hired me and brought me in, and then he left. And then I was there until they closed. And I had a little bit of a hiatus, and I was like, okay, what do I want to do? I'm back in Barbados, trying to figure this out. Backtrack, I was working for Southwestern Bell in the United States before that as a computer programmer, worked on the Y2K bug. I'm a geek, right? So I come to Barbados, I want to work for Cable Wireless, let me go. 3 rounds of interviews later, and this was at the time I had a full head of dreads. I was told, my father got a phone call. If he cuts his hair, he can have any job that he wants.
Really? Okay.
I said, but I come here to be a computer programmer. Like,
what the hair has to do with it?
What the hair got to do with it, right? Like, but this was circa Barbados, 1999. So, anyways, I said, well, I could still do advertising. So I did the advertising and then left there. Didn't know what I was going to do next. So took a little bit of hiatus, made some veggie burgers, started selling veggie burgers down the South Coast.
What?
Yeah. I had a little Swift.
But you know, take a left turn there.
I had a little Swift. I was selling some veggie burgers, and then I was driving a day coming by behind Accra, that little road there, and I see a house that had some bamboo wind chimes. I pull over. I have my notebook. I draw the wind chime. Call my buddy Ollie. We went in the country. I cut some bamboo. Come back. I met bamboo wind chimes. I selling wind chimes, and I selling veggie burgers.
You could shop for wind chimes if you're hungry.
Listen, like, you're hungry, but I couldn't get the burgers to get past the gas station. I would sell out every day.
Okay,
just driving on the road, sell out. So I was like, "Yo, these burgers selling is good." So I tried to get them packaged and put in by Hanchelinus, and like I was really like looking to be entrepreneurial with it because I figured people enjoy it.
Yeah, you want to carry the next level.
There we go.
Yeah.
And that's when I saw an ad for Miller Publishing looking for a designer, art director. So I went to Miller and it was like, oh yeah, we will hire you to do the Ins and Outs magazine of Barbados. And I did the first, I did the first for Trinidad, Business Trinidad, did Ins and Outs St. Vincent, did Barbados in a Nutshell, did Business Barbados, did Ins and Outs, did all those magazines. And then left there and decided, let me start my own company. And that's when Icon Design came about, my business partner, Allison Ford. And our first major job was Mountain Gay Rum 300th anniversary recipe book with Paul Yellen.
Really?
Yeah. Because Paul is my boy. So,
right.
Paul said he went to New York to do a restaurant. 9/11 happened. He came back to Barbados and we sat down in the house there in Brandon's. He said, I want to do a recipe book with rum. I said, all right. So we talked. He gave me some books. I went home, scanned them books, designed some pages. And the next morning we had a meeting with Mount Gay. And I said, look, I know y'all got agency, but I know starting a company. And I would prefer that if I hand you all my designs, you don't just take them to another agency, that you work with me. And Mount Gay said, no, we will honor that. We will work with you if we decide to do this project.
Okay.
And then they said, yeah, we can do the project. And off to the races we went.
Okay.
Then I had to find publishers, eventually found Macmillan Publishers, and ended up doing 3 major publications with them. Did that one, did the 25 Greatest West Indian Cricketers, and did the Wendy Rahimut recipe book as well out of Trinidad.
Okay, cool. So what happened to the burgers?
So the burgers went left. Burgers just get made at home. I didn't want to put preservatives in them. And that was the big thing. So in order to get them frozen and they could stay, and mine were all natural lentil burgers. Like everything was natural, every ingredient. I had my own special sauce I made with it.
Right.
You could get either the hot special sauce or the regular special sauce. And it was working.
But deep down inside you want to be a creative and you wanted to design.
Yes, I wanted to use. I have always wanted to use all of my skills in whatever it is that I'm doing. And I'm very fortunate now that this job that I have now allows me to do that. Because I realized that, I have computer programming skills. I work on a Y2K bug. I understand how to program computers, which made me understand how to program websites and understand HTML. Then I have my whole creative graphic design skills and all of that that's there. But then in order to become a graphic artist at school, I had to take 33 design courses, which included photography, pottery, glass, you name it. So I touched all of those elements in art.
Okay.
And so I did darkroom photography. So I know how to shoot. My grandmother gave me a camera when I was 10. So it was like I wanted to incorporate as much of that as humanly possible. And then I'm a geek. Like I'm a big nerd. So I'm a computer. I could take them apart, build them, put them back together. I build servers, flow charts, all kind of things. So I wanted to find a way to incorporate all of those skills together. So I was always been searching for, and that's why it was like entrepreneurial, you can do it on your own, which is what I was doing when I was here. And then the acting bug bit. And I was like, I see what Barbados is doing. I'm not really interested in being on, Beijing bus stop or some of the other things that I saw.
Yeah, no disrespect.
No disrespect at all, but I just wanted to be a very serious actor was in my brain, right? I want to play roles and bring certain people and characters to life, and I didn't want to do that. And those opportunities did come here. Through theater at first, and then more and more and more opportunities, and that's when I ended up like, okay, well, let me go to Los Angeles and pursue this part of my life.
Right. So what you think happened in that moment after the burgers and the windchimes, and then you got into like advertising agency world? What made that acting bug bit?
So while I'm in the agency world, I'm doing commercials, but I was also modeling. And, I was getting picked up to do this, getting picked up to do that. And then, a couple of things happened. There was a film that was coming here with, what's his name from 90210 that passed away, Jason Priestley.
Okay.
And they're doing this movie. And, I found out there was a casting director here by the name of Andrea Allen. So I went to her house. I'm there working at Miller. And I was like, look, anything I would take, right? Just like the smallest of nothing. And she was like, we can give you an extra role, cool. And I went, and there was an incident that happened where the Bajan extras weren't being fed. We were at Boatyard, and there was like craft services. You get your granola bar, different things, but they had food for the cast, and so people was getting vexed that they wasn't getting food. And so I went and asked Andrea a question, and she was like, yeah, the snacks are there for the people, and this is the arrangement. I was like, all right, cool, no problem. So I walk over by the women who was serving the food, and I asked, how you get food? And they said, you got to have a ticket. I said, how you get a ticket? And the woman said, well, they got to give you one. I said, all right. So I went, sit down at my table, and, the woman come cleaning the table, lift up the ashtray, look at me, smile, and then when I lift up the ashtray, a ticket there. So I get up, I go and get a plate of food. I come sit down, and a man come over again, all vexed. How you get food? He's one of the extras, so on and so forth. And the woman said, he had a ticket. And Andrea looked at me and said, I like you. I will call you back, right? Because you are resourceful, and you figured out not to make it an issue, but still figure out how to sort yourself out. Because there was a rain delay for like hours, and people standing up there. But I've always liked film. Always did theater from the time I was young.
Okay.
Did my first TV commercial when I was 4 or 5 here in Barbados for KFC. So I always loved acting. I do a lot of voices, do a lot of accents. When I was on the radio here, doing what I was doing here, I would pretend like there was somebody else in the studio with me at times, and it was just me doing 2 voices. So all of that is where that bug came from.
So you were always in that
to
world.
do more, yeah.
Okay, so when you went to Los Angeles, how long did it took you to get on screen?
So my first week in Los Angeles, I signed up for this. The place where I was living lied about what they said they were. They said it's an apartment. So I signed up for an apartment. I show up in Los Angeles. I sign a contract, and it says no alcohol allowed on the premises. I said, huh? And then it says, curfew by 1 a.m. I said, excuse me, question. What is this? and the woman said, the place is like a hostel. I said, what? Hostel? I just saw that movie, right? This don't sound right. She said, but it's not a hostel. It's a sober living house. I said, what is a sober living house? She said, well, when people coming out of sobriety issues or whatever, they could come here and just like get themselves back into society. I said, y'all advertise this on Craigslist as an apartment. Well, I'm now in Los Angeles signing a lease for an apartment that you telling me is a sober living house. What madness is this that y'all? I said, all right, look, I gotta go to Barbados and pick up some things and come back. I was the only person in that place. I went to Barbados. I come back a week later. Place cork with people. I said, yo, wow, okay. Half the people answered the same ad I did, expecting us. The other half was sober living people. That is a movie to watch right there. So one of the girls tell me that same week, there's a place you could go sign up to be an extra. Come. So I said, okay, let me go. And I went to this place. And when they pull up, 200 people inside the place, line, and I'm like standing at the door, no seat. I'm like, okay, this is not good. We're late. I don't even know how this works. They say, here, we can give you all this thing to fill out. So I stand up by the door, my hand on the glass, filling out the piece of paper. And, you go in, you pay your $25, then you get in the next line, and then you get inside and they take a picture of you and you leave. So I say, all right. So gone through, get inside. And I had a mohawk at the time. And the woman saw me with a button-down shirt and she could see this tattoo I have on my neck. And she said, can you take off your shirt? And I was like, yeah. So I took off your shirt. She said, oh, you're fit too. I said, okay. She picked up the phone. She said, what about this one? Now, at that time, this is 2006, yeah. She got a camera on a desk pointed at me, and there's no cable running from the camera.
Right.
So I am saying, who are you talking to that can see me in this room? And then I look up and I see all the way in the back of the corner, security camera. So she hang out the phone. She said, yeah, when you finish, come outside and sit down right there. So I said, all right. So I step out, and the girl who was there with me saw me. I said, they tell me to sit here, so let me hold on a minute. I don't know what's going on. So a man come out now. This whole time, we thought this was a glass wall. One of them just opened and a man come out. It was a door. We were like, wait. And the man come out and said, yeah, come in here.
This sounds like a movie, bro.
The break B. I gone inside now, and the man said, so you've been hand selected to be in the new Will Smith movie. He says in Hollywood, they use sometimes a working title so that people don't know the name of the movie. He says, so you're going to get a call about one of two working titles. And he starts laughing. He says, you're going to find them funny. I was like, okay. He says, the first one is Tonight He Comes, and the other one is Hancock. And I look at this man, I say, want to play the ass with me, right? Because you can tell me a Will Smith movie name, Tonight He Comes, or Hancock. I don't like any part of this. He must say, no, he's serious. He laughing, I laugh.
They're actually two weird titles.
Very strange titles, right? So I said, none of them can be the name of this movie when it done. I was very surprised in the end. But so he said, you got a phone? I said, no, I just get to
That could have gone like a whole different direction.
What? I was already nervous because I said, yeah, in Los Angeles. The man said, Tonight He Comes, Hancock. Supposedly my name isn't Will Smith. It's like Willard Smith.
Yeah.
And I get there and then and I was like, wait, I said, extra, what are you supposed to do? Stand over here in this robe. Nah, B, I good. I go home. I good. I too recognizable in Barbados.
Yeah.
So, you not Sean? Yeah, So yeah, the man said, you got a phone? I said, I ain't got no phone. So he was like, well, here, take this business card. When you get a phone, call us back and tell us your phone number so we can contact you. I said, yeah, I just get to America. So we left from there and I went straight to go and get a phone at like the 7-Eleven, which is still my phone number, my American number to this day.
Wow.
It was like, you pick the package, you open the plastic and had the phone inside. And whatever the number was the number you get.
It sounds like a burner.
Yeah. So it was like, yeah, I take that. And 2 days later, I standing even closer than you to Will Smith in Hancock.
Wow.
And I'm like, whoa, this is brilliant. And Barbados played a huge role in even being that close to him. Because when I showed up in the morning First of all, Whittier is very far from North Hollywood, and you don't know that when you just get there. So I know Google Maps was like a thing, MapQuest was more a thing, and I had a car. So I'm like, how are you gonna get there?
MapQuest.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Right. So you're talking 2006, right? So I put in the directions and I see how far it is. So I call a taxi company. The man tell me $135 each way. I was like, no. So I said, okay, 3 buses and a train to get there. I gotta leave at 5 in the morning to get there by 7:30. So I did all of that. I get there. When I get there, there's nobody inside of this room except for me and this other black man. So we started to talk. He's from South Africa. So we start talking cricket because the Cricket World Cup just finished and the finals was just here in Barbados that I went to. So we talking cricket. A white man walk in. He from New Zealand. Tree, we know sit down and talk cricket for about an hour. He now leave. More people come in. And about 30 minutes later, the same white man come back in. He says, okay, my name is so-and-so. I'm the first assistant director here on this film. Everybody come with me. We go into makeup. So we go into makeup, go into wardrobe. All right, now we can go on set. And he tell me, come with me. So I go on with him. He said, when we get to your room, you're going to open it up inside the prison and you can go inside. He said, just find a table to sit down and I will come to you. I said, all right, cool. So I go on in. I skip the first table. Second table, I sit down with my back to the door. 3 men come and sit down. My man come over, tell this man here, sorry, you're going to move. And move him and bring the big, tall white man and put him to sit down and say, okay, this scene, Will Smith is going to put this guy's head up his butt and you and him are going to be best of friends in this scene. And the man turned to me and was like, hey, my name is, and I was like, wait. And he was like, right, so Will going to come from over there. You going to tell me when he's coming. And me and you going to be like here playing cards. And then, all right, we can get up and we can confront Will. I said, no, saying, did my first week in America in Los Angeles. This really, all of this happening.
Yeah.
Cricket get involved. Coming from Barbados get involved. All of this, just tattoo involved. Being fit was involved. Not having a phone and being fully prepared. Like so many things went into that moment. And then you're on set for 12 hours. And you're doing the same scenes over and over again. And Will Smith right here the whole time.
Right.
And when it was time for lunch, this is where my mother and her teachings are, infamous. My mother would tell me, if you're going out, you're going to an event, eat before you go. Because you know what you're going to get. Right, good. So I don't know what I can get on a movie set with Will Smith, right? So I bring my food. So come lunchtime now, I walk outside and everybody going so for lunch. I said, well, no, I brought lunch. So I going for mine because I don't know what y'all gonna have.
Yeah. And so we don't got no tickets.
I got so, right? Because I already had that experience. So when I go through this door and I walk in, all of a sudden I see a side door open up and I see Will Smith come out the side door and it's me and him. And I go in so and he going so. I said, we can run into each other. So I walk up and I was like, yeah, listen, let me introduce myself. My name is Sean Fielder here from Barbados. I just moved to Los Angeles to act. And one of these days I'm going to work with you outside of this. He was like, oh, yeah, you hungry? I said, yeah. The man give me a bear hug and lift me up off the ground. He's so tall. He lift me up off the ground. He was like, come and get it. I was like, yeah, come in. Right? He was like, good to meet you, man. I was like, good to meet you too. Phew. Off he went, off I went. So I go on and sit on the thing. I eat my lunch. You know that the man had lobster and shrimp, all kind of food, little people. And I sitting in there with my little Bangamary fish or whatever it is I get from America, my little macaroni pie that I make. But I was like, this is a good experience to have week one, right?
Wow.
And yeah.
That was a high, like immediately as soon as you land.
Immediate as I land. And it was good to have that moment because within a month, the strike happened.
Okay.
And Hollywood shut down. And so that first month, I was doing a lot of extra work, learning. Like when the man said, check the gates, I was like, what gates he talking about? Like I knew nothing about what any of that meant.
Right.
So I got to learn a lot of those things and I got to be on shows and be around people that I could learn a lot of things real fast in 30 days about the industry, and then strike happened. And so now the strike happens, your opportunity to get the bigger roles has now gone even further away from you. But your opportunity to learn is now presented way more opportunities for you. So I was doing everything. If it was a student film, I was doing it. If it was indie, I was doing it. If it was a commercial, I was doing it. I didn't care what it was. No pay, I was doing it because I needed to learn how all of this is work. I don't know nothing. I know how to do it in Barbados, but we still learning. So if we still learning and Hollywood is the standard that we've all known films to become from, then that's the place to learn. Let me put my head to the books and go to church.
Right. Okay. All right. So I trying to go across the timeline. So you had the work on Hancock. It wasn't Tonight He Comes, right? It was Hancock. And then after that, where did life take you after that?
So after that, stayed in LA for the next 4.5 years, like 5 years in Los Angeles. Got an agent, had to figure out how to get an agent, asking everybody on set, different people, they introduce you to agents. Some people don't want to sign you, some people do, but you don't necessarily want them. And I had made a phone call to somebody here who told me about an acting school. And I went to the acting school to audition for them. And when they started telling me prices of classes, I was like, yeah, no, that ain't happening. So the conversation, the guy was asking me, what do you do? What are your skills? And I tell him I'm a graphic designer and so on. Next day he called me and he said, my boss is actually looking for a head of marketing graphics person. Can you come for an interview? I went in the interview and he hired me on the spot. And he said, you get free classes if you work here. So now I get free acting classes and I just go work there doing graphic design I could do with my eyes closed. And he had an acting school in Chicago, Los Angeles, and New York, and they were one of the premier acting schools. Even Longoria come through there, all kind of people. So I was like, yeah, let's go. And I went hard on studying, auditioning, meeting people again, and then working as a designer and then doing, side work as a designer to Craigslist. So you could just make extra money, pay rent, survive gas. At the time, gas was ridiculous. So it was a lot of that for 4 or 5 years. Got a good agent, through him, because he sent me to a couple of agents to interview. Got a really good one. First day after I got the agent, got a commercial audition for Allstate with, the black guy that does the Allstate commercials. That was on 24. I gone in for this audition. I feel so good.
He was the president.
Yeah, he was the president in 24. And in my audition, I'm supposed to play a bailiff who's in court, and the scene is taking place in court. And I got one line, court is in session. So I gone in, do the audition, went well. I drive in home on the highway. My agent calls, says they want you to come right back. They like you a lot. Right off the highway, went back. I get in there now. The man who playing the judge. Because you got to pair now with random person. So the people tell me, when you go in, we're doing a live stream back to New York for the people to see y'all. So, this is serious. So I ready. I bring in my A game. The man who played the judge gone in there and played the tail, trying to crack jokes with the people, ain't saying the lines right. My one line is, court is in session.
Right.
So I do like, court is in session. He cracked a joke. But I said, okay, thank you, next. I was like, you just made me lost a role because you played, because now I'm queued with him.
Right.
So forget them two, on to the next one. And sometimes that's how it works. So I had a quick learning.
So because y'all were paired up, it wasn't necessarily something that you did, but it was just your peer.
Correct. You lose roles like that. Just so. And it's sad because now that I've flipped it to the other side and I'm a director and I'm watching commercial auditions and I go watch 500 videos. If you got somebody with you in a scene and you're supposed to be, and that person next, I ain't got time, right? And I've definitely cut people for those similar reasons. And I've also seen people jump off the screen and know that's the exact person that I want. And it work out. And I've had that happen with AMCO, how I became the spokesperson for AMCO. And that was a good one. You do one day of work, get a check for 5 years. 5 years later, the phone ring. We got another check for you. 5 years later, the phone ring. We got another check for you. It was like, this is great. We want to renew for another 5 years. Awesome. Do it. Last time I was paid from that was 5 years ago.
So you drew a check, right now.
2025, I wait and your phone ring. Hey, right? Because it was like 2010, I did it. 2015, 2020, I was like, yes, let's go. Like, I like that. I like how they also look at you when you are serious about this as a business. Because I tell people a lot, I learned it and I understood it right away. It's not called show art. It's called show business. Right? And a lot of us want to do show art. And it's okay to just do your art, then hire somebody to handle your business so that you can show art and they can show business. And then you'll be fine. But if you only want to show art and never think about the business, I wish you luck.
Yeah. Right? That's important. That's very important. I think that is one of the things that are missing here on the island. We have some super talented people, but we don't have it's not complete because of the business side.
Correct. And then the flip side to that is the people who have to pay those people know that and then take advantage of that. So therefore, you're always going to be on the back end because the person, I learned that one of the lessons I learned from doing theater here. I was playing slave number 2 or 3 in one of my first plays, and they came to us and they said, we negotiate individually with everybody. You have X amount of weeks of rehearsals, this many show dates. How much do you want to be paid? I said $1,500. They said, okay, we're going to pay you $1,500. Great. At the end now, when it was time to get paid, one of the other slave men come up to me and said, wait, man, this was a lot of work. This is my first time doing one of these here. I said, yeah, me too. He says, I can't believe I did all of this for $200.
What?
I said, what? He said, yeah, when they came to negotiate, I tell them, well, I didn't know how much. So I said, 200. I said, and they paid you 200? He said, yeah. And I said, wow, okay, show business, right? They're not going to say, oh, no, we're paying Sean 15. Let's pay you 15 too. No, you asked for 2. You're going to get what you asked for.
Right. What if you had asked for more? You think about that?
I don't know. But I've definitely asked for more on many occasions and I've gotten it. And I've seen people.
So you got to call your price.
Yeah. Know what you're worth and your value. Call your price. And you can work with people if they don't have it, depending upon what the project is, so on and so forth. But if it is something that I know.
When do you know when it's time to really call that price? Like, they got some people that say, well, I got to do XYZ first. I got to pay my dues. Like, how much is dues?
Dues is important, right? Dues is very important. When I was in St. Lucia, I had 2 young men who came and interned with me for 2 years straight. They would get paid for events when we had to go and shoot events. But when they came in the office Monday through Friday, they were interns and they were learning and there was no pay. After 2 years, I was then able, with Andrew Jemmett, to be able to turn that into business for them, contract. Now you're being paid. One of them is in Canada right now, killing it in the industry. He took his dues and turned it into, I want to go to film school. Can you write my letter of recommendation? I took his dues and turned it into job and letter of recommendation for film school. Right. So dues are very important because he was young. But he took that skill and it took off, right? And the other one is still doing great things. And I had 6 interns in St. Lucia. One of them became TV show host. One of them is in New York right now, went to NYU, was working at the bank, and I taught him how to edit. Right. And he was editing the stuff we had for Nexus Network, some of our stingers and things that he was doing. The dues are massively important. But there becomes a point where you know your skill. And you know your skill better than others know that skill. And you have something about what you're producing that is different, better than what other people are doing. And at that point, your demand starts to grow. And then you start to realize, this is my value. This is my worth. I used to get upset because I had Icon Design. I'm doing Macmillan Publishers' book for Mount Gay. I'm doing all of these big things. And somebody would come and try to charge the same amount we were charging. And he telling me, well, I work at The Nation as a graphic artist. And I said, boss, how long you been there? He said, 6 months. I said, did you have a degree in design? No. I said, so show me your work. You got mistakes all over your work, left and right. What makes you think that you should be charging the same amount as somebody else?
Right.
Because what you then do, unfortunately, is somebody will come and pay you, not get the quality, and then think other people charging the same price are also not going to give them the quality.
Right.
And then the flip to that would be, well, then he would get vexed and he would go from trying to charge my price to charge next to nothing to break in. So now the client can say, well, I can go to the guy for next to nothing. I know it's going to be not as good, but I could get it for next to nothing.
And you can save some money.
I can save money. So paying dues is important, especially when it's in an industry where you should respect the tools, the talent, and the people that have come that have laid that groundwork for you, right? Like every filmmaker should respect Charlie Chaplin.
Right.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
Right.
I find like it's hard to, especially when you're still here on the island, you get your identity. It's hard to break through to the next level to say, well, all right, it's time to charge more, because it's almost like you feel like you can only go as high as the ceiling.
Correct.
Right. So what would you say to somebody that's here that want to do more? Would you advise them to leave?
So my advice about leaving Barbados is going to be based upon my experience, right? I didn't have a choice when I left.
Yeah.
Good.
It's your story.
But when I came back and I chose to stay and then I chose to leave, it was because I had to ask myself certain questions. How far do I want to go with this thing that I'm doing with my life? There's a ceiling here. Do I want to go beyond that ceiling, or am I okay living in the space of that ceiling? Because if I'm okay living in that space, then I will stay. And I knew for sure I wanted to go way beyond that, right? And I look at Rihanna as an example of something that I saw that's fascinating to me. Before she broke out, we had a self-esteem issue in Barbados.
Right.
Big time. People were very, very, very shy about promoting themselves, promoting their talents. Some people are, boisterous or whatever. Yeah. But for the most part, it was a timid nature.
It was timid,
right?
Yeah.
All of a sudden, Rihanna gone and do what she do. And I am watching entrepreneurs left and right. Businesses opening, all kind of people doing all types of things. And I'm saying, wow, look at the difference when they see one person that look like you, sound like you,
Yeah.
not only make it in music, but make it in fashion, make it in and become a billionaire. Yeah. So it becomes a normalization for you. And so to stay in Barbados, if that is what you want to do, stay. But if you know that that ceiling isn't for you, shift. Because there's a lot of opportunity in the world and it's global.
Can the ceiling be moved?
It can. It'll take the whole country to help move it. Because the country would have to then start be willing to accept better quality of whatever it might be, right? I here driving on the road, the potholes that was here when I moved back in 99, still here, right? Like I know where they are on the road when I get there to swerve, and that shouldn't be the case, but we have accepted it. I don't know who to call to fix it. I don't know if the neighbors got to get together and pave the road themselves. I don't know. Yeah. But as long as we accept the ceiling low, then the ceiling can move. We got to collectively say, no, we need to move this ceiling. This is enough now. We can do better. We have enough talent, skills, and know-how that we can produce greatness.
Well, we have an issue where we are always experiencing a brain drainage. Mm-hmm. So it brings me to the point where I don't know if the ceiling can get moved, because you say it takes the whole country to do it. But if the head people or the people that have the capacity and the capabilities to do it, if they come together, if they all leave, then the ceiling is going to remain low. And then what you're going to have is crabs in the bucket.
Yeah. And we got a lot of crabs in the bucket already. And you have people like, I chose to come back at 28 years of age because I wanted to have an impact in my home country.
Yeah.
And I wanted to lift my home country. And I wanted to do so many things. And I was beaten down, like robbed, stolen, stabbed, right? Like in this country. done work, never saw any money, $20,000 that people got for you, right? And then your company closes because you can't afford to do things because you
cash flow not there,
cash flow not there, people not
time.
paying, all kind of things, and you're trying to produce the highest quality, most amazing things.
Good.
You know,
so that brings me to the point where I want people to understand that as a creative, because we have a structure here in corporate where they have this thing is net 30 or a net 60. And some people is net
90. Some just want to hit it with 180.
Right. And this is pretty much how long you got to wait to get paid after you've done your work.
Correct.
No, that works corporate to corporate. That can't work.
Nope.
As the one person business. Like, if that person have to sit down and spend all that time producing this work and they have to wait 30 days or 60 days to be paid because they had to do it out in that period. They had to probably pull from their own resources, spend their own money to get this product produced because they had to probably subcontract or if they have staff or a team or whatever the case would be. So no, not that they're not getting more money, but they know like lost money. So they're out of pocket for 30 days.
Yep. And longer.
So then what happens, and you could tell me what you think, but then what happens is that you then have to be, you as a creative, you then have to go and look for more and more and more work. So you don't have to work and try to produce as much as you can within that time because you're looking for money. So then the quality suffers.
Correct.
Because now instead of you having to sit down and work on 3 clients in a really professional and clean, pristine way, now you got to water down your services so that you can get 6 and 8 and 10 clients.
Correct.
Because you need to get something coming in. So therefore, the ceiling is the standard is remaining low.
Yeah. I did 2 things to combat that when I was here, and I don't care who I made vex in the process. 1, healthy work.
Right.
Right? And people are hot. That's okay. And 2, I just charge you accordingly. So, okay, you want to give me a net 30, then the price is this. But, then do you want to pay a 50% deposit? And I ain't taking less than 50%. So we could work out things. You can hit me with 50% today, 50% upon completion.
Yeah.
Right? Or if you want to do your net 30, then the price is higher than what it would normally be.
Yeah.
Because you're not giving me a deposit to do the work.
Yeah.
The sad thing is that we can't take people to court here over non-payment for a lot of these things.
Because it costs more in court.
Costs more. It'd be a waste of time. Nobody ain't winning nothing so in court. So that's why you see a lot of things done the way that they're done. And a lot of those people who are, whether they're corporate or, putting together an event or whatever, they have a restaurant, whoever, they know that they have the advantage of, you ain't gonna take me to court, I could get away with this, so on and so forth. So you have to be willing to do some of those I can hold it, right? Because at the end of the day, y'all can do that 30, 60, 90 day. I am a new business, for example, that just opened. Or, I have to, for this particular job, I now need to go hire 4 additional staff members for this. So now I got them calling me for the next 30 to 60 days looking for them money. And I got to be still calling you and them now vex with me. And then they want to come back to work with me because you ain't pay. And I telling them and everything is transparent. And then when it comes time for you to pay, no, because I have heard these. The accountant was out today, so what? So the accountant can come in Monday.
One buddy go on vacation, everything is just shut down. The whole department shuts down.
My brain was crazy. I remember calling a place here umpteen times, and the accountant was on vacation. Came back, I still got the accountant, so on and so forth. All these back and forth things. But you know what ended up happening? I got an aunt who work in the bank who come and tell me, man, they ain't got no money in the bank.
Right.
That simple.
Yeah.
The reason they can't pay you is because the money ain't there. So they're also, some of them, in their own cash flow things, but making it look real pretty.
Yeah.
And, so it is an unfortunate scenario. But contracts really should be like, I ain't doing that without nobody contract, talking about it up front.
Expectation management is should be fine too. Like if you come to me and you say, well, this is the case, and can you answer question, at least answer question, can you wait until such and such time and then allow me to make that executive decision?
Thank you.
If I want to be in that position, because some people may be able to hold out.
Right.
And then another man be like, nah, boy.
Nah, I can't do that. I got children to feed. I got car note to pay. I got things to do.
Yeah, I think, and it goes back to respect, just respecting another person's livelihood. You know what I mean? Like when you look at people that are in the creative industry, it's not easy.
No.
Don't ever think that just because they make it, like that's their talent, that's their gift, that was God given, that was put here for them to come on earth and survive and provide. You are disrupting that when you come to this person and you do not want to pay them the way how they should be paid.
It make me hot because you can't go in the grocery store and talk about a net 30. Right, you can't do that.
I can't recall a name, but you can't go in that store and say, well, cashier, I'm here waiting for this check to come in.
You can't do it nowhere. You can't tell you plumber that. You can't tell your mechanic that because he ain't gonna fix your car.
Yeah.
You can't go in a fast food place and tell them that. You can't get on a ZR and talk about, I can hit you back in 30 days when I get paid.
Yeah.
Right?
And I think that all of these things is what is holding us back. And we got to be real with ourselves. We have to have honest conversations, expectation management. And if we want the island to build and we want people to build, we have to treat these small businesses properly. You know, because they have something to offer and you want to keep them in business. And that's like, sometimes we see things on the island and they open and then they close in the next few years. And then people were like, man, I saw that, but have you supported them? There was a few popular places that open up. And it's like, man, Barbados got dead. This closed and that closed. Wait, God be so dead. And then you actually saying people, when last you went, did you go?
Correct.
Do you patronize the place?
Correct.
The same thing goes for artists. You may say, man, this buddy ain't released a song this year, or I ain't hearing this buddy and da-da-da. I only hearing XYZ, they're talking about what they don't like, but have you supported the people that you do like? And that's where everybody has to realize that we all play a part.
Correct.
And how we go forward.
Correct.
But anyway, we can fast forward. So we talk about the ceiling. We talk about someone that may have the feeling that they want to move. There are some people that may not have the freedom to do it. There's a lot of fear in terms of like, well, I ain't know nobody. I don't know what's the first thing I can do. And then, you're comfortable at home. You got your neighbors that's saying, if you can't pay a bill, you got somebody that could help you out here. There are cases where I have heard people, and it's a really, really bad situation. So I don't want people to think as soon as you go overseas that you can blow up.
Yeah.
But so there's risk, right? But I want, can you lend a little bit of advice in that area?
So nothing happen without risk. Period.
Yeah.
And people talk about calculated risks and so on and so forth. On my arm is a tattoo, but by the grace of God, I am what I am. Right. So I keep a firm foundation with God. You have to know inside of you that the risk that you are taking for your benefit, and that God is going to guide you correctly in that journey. Your fear, you can be nervous about something. The word anxiety, I can't stand it because it feels like a modern day today buzzword, right? Your fear is meant to be there to help motivate and push you past beyond that place so that you can get to the next thing. Playing hide and seek as a boy, they used to run up the top of the roof and jump off onto the wall. Either too afraid. I ain't doing it. Sean would get catch every time on the roof, right? And then one day I did it, and it was easy. And from that minute, you'll never catch me on the roof again. So you gotta move past that fear to get to where you're trying to get to. And I think all too often we use fear as something that stops us or blocks us from taking a risk. Enough man fear ain't talk to a woman, ain't get the girl. Man had the fear, take the risk, talk to a woman, married, children, happy family. You ain't gonna know until you take the risk, right? And that's as basic as you can bring it in terms of just a communication with somebody. Well, those types of things open up doors for all spaces. Just a simple conversation can open doors to many, many, many things, and I've watched it happen. And that is the beauty in asking a question. The same intern that I'm talking about who used to work with me there in St. Lucia was sending me Facebook messages for months. And I was like, I don't know this man, why he want work with me, he want work with me, he want work with me, he like my work. Okay, all right, but I don't know you. And then eventually he said, I worked on this project, and I helped assist. And the project was pristine. And I was like, okay, come and meet me. And from there, all of those things happened. So he took a risk in, I can reach out to this man, not once, not twice, not 3 times. I can keep reaching out to this man until, because I know in me, God guided me towards this path in my life.
Yeah.
Right. So I would tell anybody, do exactly that. What is for you? Harclay, tell me here when I was acting, what is for you is for you. What is not for you is not for you.
Right. Right. So what I heard is take the risks. You gotta like leave the horizon, get past that, and don't give up at the first no.
Definitely
or
not.
the second no,
Or the third, or the fourth, or the 10th, or the 100th.
Because the business that you in, I don't know if there's any other business that have so much rejection than acting.
The amount of auditions you go on as an actor, huge actors that today are auditioning today for roles and not getting them. And there are Leonardo DiCaprio auditioning for roles and not getting them, Don't think that because he's Leonardo DiCaprio, yes, they will write roles for you in certain spaces when you've made whatever.
Yeah.
Cool. But for the most part, everybody got audition.
Yeah.
And sometimes you'll see after the fact, such and such person got the role, but these other people had auditioned and were so close. And then you're like, oh, wow, I couldn't have imagined, wouldn't have even have thought, because you don't know the process. And you have to be able to go in there, deliver, leave it, walk out, and walk away. And that skill is the same thing that should happen when you driving in your car and somebody cut you off. And you cuss them, and them going right, and you going straight.
Let it go.
Let it go. Because them going on about their life and them business, right? It ain't gonna come back around to you, and you still carrying it down the road. So now the audition, you go on and do the audition. You walk out, you carrying it, you holding on to it, you hoping, you set your expectations. This is mine again. You do all of that, and then it don't happen. And after a while of that, you then don't know how to balance your own compass.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You do it, you let it go. If the phone rings and they give it to you, wow, thank you.
You gotta find a coping mechanism. You gotta find a coping system. I heard Kiki Palmer was like, when she going to audition, she don't get it. She's like, well, it means that you moving to be that great then. Because
You don't have me in it. Yeah, yeah.
And even, and I don't think she was saying it to be cocky, but it's like
because you feel you were the person
way.
for that. There was a role that I was up for to play a lawyer, and I was this lawyer. I came in with 4 suits to show them to choose from before I even start to do the lines, and they choose the suit. And it was my Rojo suit. Rojo, God bless Rojo. Rojo tailored a suit for me. And somebody teeth it anyhow. So I used that suit for the audition, and people loved it. Call me on the phone. And I come back 2 more times. I brought different shirts in case y'all want. Like each time I coming back with more, like to show I'm really this guy. And man, I deliver in the courtroom scene, and I know I can see the smiles. I know I crushing it, man. And when I get that call, and the man said, "Boy, I hate to have to tell you this." He's like, "But the producer, not the director, but the producer really wants this other guy, and we're gonna go." And and you could tell it's hurting them. And I had that same kind of feeling that Kiki, well, this movie can be shite because I ain't in it. I know I was the lawyer, so whoever want to get. No, did the movie I ever see it? No. So did it even? Sometimes the movie don't even happen at that point.
Yeah,
you can go through all of that. I came here, did one of the plays. I think I was playing Clement Payne or something. I went on CBC. And they were like, "Oh, what do you have coming up next?" And I said, "Well, I can't talk about it because I signed an NDA, but I got a big film coming up, all this and that." When I get back to LA, I was supposed to go gun training and do all this for this movie. The morning of, the man called me, tell me, meet me at Starbucks. I said, "That's not where we're supposed to meet today." We meet you at Starbucks, go on there. And he says, "Yeah, the movie's been pulled."
Oh, shoot. Listen, you got to have a strong mind and a strong heart to be in this business. Because you can get, like, your hopes could go all the way out there, and then boom.
Nothing.
Like, this happened on the day that it was supposed to start production.
Day it was supposed to start training.
Training,
So
right? Training, yeah.
I was supposed to be, I could talk about it now. I went to Stella Adler and did an audition. I walk in and I see faces. I say, "Wait, I recognize this person, that person, this person." I go on in, I play in this Batman. I had on a vest from a jacket underneath with just a shirt. Man, and he was a real Batman with 2 guns, all kind of things. So I went in, did the audition, crush it, leave, drive in. They call me, come back. I gone back. They want you to do it again with a few more actors. I did it, cool. They call me back. "We need you to come to this studio." I drive out, Sony Studios. I'm like, "Oh, okay, yeah." Gone in, big long room, table. I recognizing people. Got my name. I sit down and I see a big thick, and they say, "Okay, everybody turn over your first page." Your first page says, "Marvel and Sony Studios welcomes you." And I was like, "Who?" "This is your NDA." So I read the NDA and I sign it. So now I like, what is this?
What is this?
What's this? Yeah, this is the new Wolverine movie that's gonna be coming out. And if you have a full script in front of you, that means you're in the entire movie. And if you have, and I looking around, people got little pieces, and I got the whole thing, and I'm like, I smiling. So we do the whole table read. I am the main bad man. The producer coming.
Really?
Tell me I beat Snoop for the role. I say, "I beat Snoop for the role." My mind is blown. I am so happy. So the story is about Logan's daughter, right? And it's about her and all of this. And I am so happy. Came here, did the play, getting ready. I know I'm going back to this thing. I got to go training with these guns. We're going to Vegas to do special gun training, all this. Like, I can run through it like how Keanu did with John Wick. I got to go through all of that type of training. When the man tell me, and I don't know if you remember, but there was a studio working on the post-production for the previous Wolverine movie, and it leaked online.
Yeah.
Right. Sony shut down everything at that moment. Pre-production, production, whatever it was, all shut down until we button up things inside. So and the movie shifted from being about his daughter to Logan was the one that ended up coming out, where his daughter came in the end. But they changed the whole movie, whole film changed. And I just was like,
how you got over that though? Like,
boss, you don't get over them things.
That was semi.
That's your moment, bro, that you just watch, and you just say, well, the director was a first-time director. He did a short after. He felt so bad. He was like, "I can do a short with you." He did the short with me, brilliant short, and he stopped making movies. It destroyed him. Because imagine that's your big break as a director. You got a huge opportunity and poof, right in front of your face, just gone. And for me, I was here. What was the embarrassing for me was I went on TV talking about, "Yo, this big role kind of." So then I was like, I ain't talking about nothing forward after that. Until it's done and it is done, out.
Yeah.
And know that it is out. Even then, because you could shoot it and it done and it in the can.
It don't get put out.
I got a whole Marshall video nobody ain't ever see.
Right.
And will never see. Shot, edited, thought it was great.
You put out BTS or something when you were doing it?
One photo.
Yeah, I remember seeing that.
Mm-hmm. And it wasn't because he didn't like the video. It was because the men did Family, and they were shooting that video a couple of days later, and Family blow up. So he was like, "Now we can't put out the next videos because this is the song."
Oh, shoot.
So that's the video that get put forward. That's the song that blow up. It gone clear. And I never even get a note to say, these are the edits we want to make. Then nothing. Like, I shot it, put together a quick rough draft edit and hand that over. And the next day it was like, yeah, we're going to do this next video quick. I can get back to you. All right. Yeah, let that one sit.
Yeah. This industry is not for the weak-hearted.
Nah.
It's not for the weak-hearted.
Nah. You can't be in here playing. Mm-hmm. That's why I go back to show art, show business. Because if it's business, then there's things that you will understand about it from the business side of it that you will be okay with, because there's things that come out that are great. I just made Ad Age for the first time. Big deal for me.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Like, all my years as a designer, I've never been in Ad Age. And now I got a campaign that just came out with Nigel Sylvester, and boom.
Did it ever, you ever realize, like, the things that break through or the things that you, like, put once in and actually forgotten and you just let go, like, whatever, and it just comes back and it's like, it's a winner?
Some of them things is, I wrote Egress, my film, the homeless film. I had an argument with my ex. She said I can go for a run and be back in 20 minutes. She got up, left the house. 20 minutes later, film was written. I was just vexed. And I was vexed because of the argument, and vexed because I was seeing homeless people in New York not have a way to eat or nothing, knowing I come from Barbados. You could pick a fruit off a tree. You could go and bathe in the sea. What they can do in the cold, in the freezing. So I write this film in 20 minutes. She come back in, I was done. I never thought that movie is going to win 14 awards and win the MCNY Film Fest and do all of these things that it has done. And I'm like, still, I watch people crying in the cinema, all kind of, like, my mind is blown by what came out of a moment of frustration. 20 minutes of writing turn into, oof.
Yeah.
So yeah, sometimes, and then there's other things you could work on and nothing.
And nothing happens. The same thing happens with producing, like, even with music. Like, you know, you'll be in your studio working on a song and you put everything into it and it does nothing. And you one that you just, like, you know, you already put that much attention into it. It was just like a little freestyle thing, and then boom, people love it.
Humans.
It's just crazy. It's just crazy how it works. But I just thinking about like people that are coming out in the industry.
Yeah.
What we could say that would avoid them from crashing out. Because I believe that, one, it's you got to manage your expectations. You have to learn, as you said, let go. You know, so if you're going for an audition or you put forward a project, like, you have to understand that nothing is absolute. You know, and maybe counteract that with like, work on, like, passion projects, like, you know, because you are an artist. You want to express. So when sometimes you go to work with your art and the business side is not working out, you still want to express because that's still you. So I think that is important to find a system that you have something running in the background that you're still working on that is yours.
Constantly, like, you should always, if you're an artist, as an artist, whether I am writing, I'm drawing, I'm doing design, creative directing, I'm filming, I'm shooting, whatever it is, my art is always at work, right? So I will go to work and do my job, but I am also taking photos of all kind of things along the way. I'm also then writing in my phone poetry pieces left and right, here and there. Inspiration for films are being written down. Art is still always happening, regardless of whichever medium. So that way there isn't bored has always been a word that I never understood, because I'm like, how are you bored? There's a whole world of life going on, and you have the opportunity to wake up every day and do anything.
Yeah.
And you are bored. You don't know nothing that you can do, you know. But I think coupled with that, for young artists coming up now, there is this instant gratification. right? I need to be right now, and it's like, nah, it don't work so, right? Like some people will show you a film and say, oh, this is my first film and it's done well and it's made millions, it's all kind of thing. And then you will hear, yes, this was a 15-year in the making film. And in that 15 years, I did and then this film came out. We have a law. People would just look at, oh, this is my first film. He made millions. Yes. So my first film should go out, and it can't, right? You don't know nothing about nothing yet. And right, there's so much that you don't know.
Yeah.
So you got to learn. It takes time to learn, just like your process of being human. You could not speak when you came out the womb. It was right? Like, and eventually you learn words, and now you learn communication, and you learn body language, and you learn all these other things. That learning process took time. So the same thing is going to happen with your craft. If you want to be a master of your craft, you want to be amazing at what you do, then it will take time. I look at Scott Ames, my boy. I went to Saki last night, his restaurant.
Yeah.
And I posted this morning, we were talking about it, and he was like, wow, you really know my entire trajectory. I said, yeah. I watched you land in Barbados, right? I watched you doing what you started off doing. I watched you going into people's houses and cooking. I watched you give me my first piece of sushi in 2005, 20 years ago. I love sushi. I watch you come from doing that to restaurant, to catering, to, you know what? I can start to do sushi. I can convert the garage. I can know you at Saki. Now, somebody might walk in and see Saki and meet Scott for the first time and just think, oh, man, you gone clear. You get some investors. You just lamp on that. You don't know Scott 20-somebody years ago working his way all the way through this to get here. And it is the proudest feeling I have to go in there and support my friend, because it goes back to what we were talking about. So you got to support them, but you got to know that there's no instant gratification. You got to put in the time. So young creatives got to understand you have to put in that time. You got to work. You got to do multiple things to show your skills. Teach yourself so you could even get better at your own skill, regardless of what it is.
Yeah, I feel like lately, as I look back at the things I would have created and become now, and become is the word, it's not really about the things. Mm-hmm. It's about who you become while creating the things. Mm-hmm. I don't think that is the true praise, right? So you're cheating yourself if you want this, if you get quick gratification. If you do something for the first time and it just blow up, then congratulations, that's fine and cool. However, I do believe that you miss out a very interesting and the most important part when you don't get to grow within and get that time to expand and become. You know,
and the becoming is the part, like, you're going to die, and the money and the car and the things and the accolades and all of that will, right? Mm-hmm. But what you became through that journey and who you were able to touch and inspire and interact with and have friendship with and fellowship and all kinds of things, that is the value.
Correct.
Right? And correct. The fullness of it. You know, losing my mom this year was the hardest thing I ever experienced.
Right.
And watching her journey and how she changed and what she went through to end up seeing where she ended, I am so proud to say, well, I could see somebody who I watched grow and add things to their life, become a marathon runner in her 60s. Who wakes up in their 60s and say I can go run marathons? Because I used to run track when I was 14. I had kids, I had a whole full life, I work, I do all of this, and then I wake up and I can go and start running. And in my first marathon at Chicago Marathon, I'm going to place 14th out of 9,000 people over the age of 60.
That is insane.
And be vexed because you realize I could have been in the top 10, but I stopped to help a woman with her shoe. And I saw the person who finished 10th pass me. So I could have been in the top 10. So I said, okay, well, when you go back again, when she went back the second time, somebody who had a problem, and she ran with the person and didn't even get anywhere near her time. It wasn't about winning.
No, she won though.
She won big time.
That's a win.
But now in her house there, when I tell you we got pictures of enough medals, probably about 50 somebody medals and trophies, the amount of times that she's won and won and won and won and won and won and all of that. But those moments of what she did is the true winning. And so I have that as an example, as a guide, and I'm so grateful for that. And I miss her tremendously, because to have that person every day at lunch, from the time I started this job, I get a lunch hour, I take 9 minutes. My lunch is 9 minutes because I'm that busy. And I call her for them 9 minutes and I talk to her. And since she passed, I probably have eaten lunch in my office maybe 10 times. I can't bring myself to do it because I don't have that person, right? And that is the hard part about having somebody that you can see that example from and then not having them to communicate with anymore. So as I keep saying, no, without her, I'm finding out who I am all over again. The new me without my mother, to learn who I am. I had to go through learning who I am all over again, cancer. Now I got to go through it all over again just a few years later. That's why last week was so hard, because Monday was 4 years to the day of my cancer surgery. Friday, my parents' anniversary. First one since losing mom. So I knew Monday and Friday was going to be tough. And then Wednesday, I ended up in the hospital. My mental state in that space of time, tough. And I don't have her to communicate to. And part of it is losing her. So you take from life what is going to give you, but you hold on to understanding that is about your journey and what you're adding into your cup that you can pour out for others, more so than the car that you could buy, the watch you got on, the shirt, the things that you accumulate, and then what?
Yeah. I mean, when these things do happen, I mean, you touch some really deep stuff that people go through for real. You know, we are all going to lose somebody. Someone is going to get ill. Something's going to happen to us, and that's real life. And but I want to know, like, what made you so resilient? Because leaving Barbados, going to the US to pursue your dreams, having to be going around a lot of corners, and yes, you have like great moments, then you have like down moments, then you have great moments again, and it's all this up and down, and then it's like the almost, and then it's like it didn't happen, but this other thing happening. And then you had to go through losing your mom, you had to go through being diagnosed with cancer. Like, what is the thing? Because let me tell you, Sean, like, some of us haven't experienced half of these things and struggling. But so tell me, was how you managing this?
There's a guy that I saw in my teenage years do something that I never saw anybody do. And I watched his mentality. I mean, you weren't going to outwork him. You weren't going to beat him. You were never going to see him lose, even if you lost. He was always going to come back and come back and come back and come back and just keep coming at you. And there was nothing you could do. And people put their best against this man left and right. And I didn't admire anything else other than his mindset. And that was Michael Jordan.
Right.
You could not beat Michael Jordan mentally. Mm-hmm. You might be able to beat him physically, beat him up, do all kind of things like the fellas did. And he just got stronger. He got mentally stronger. There was something about that mental strength and fortitude that I saw as a teenager. And I wasn't a Bulls fan at all. But at that time, I was having real serious racist experiences against me that were things that you wouldn't want to go through as a young 13-year-old, 14-year-old young boy. People pelting you with eggs, people putting gum in your chair when you go to sit down in your pants, and you go out, like, people caking your house with the word nigger, people throwing toilet paper in your yard, all kinds of experiences, horrible experiences. And I'm the older brother. So I got to look out for my younger brother. And I got to navigate this thing with no other real older family members to look out for me, nobody to fight for me. So I got in a lot of fights. And as my father told me, if you come home and tell me you lost, I can beat you. Right? So I fought and I win. And that was my whole thing. If you come to fight me, I ain't gonna start a fight, but I gotta make sure I finish it. And then seeing that mental toughness of Michael Jordan made me realize, oh, this is some of what you're dealing with in your mind. You might not be the biggest guy or whatever, but you know your father can beat you when you get home. He ain't beating you today. Mentally, I'm going to destroy you in whatever way you can't overcome me. And I've applied that thinking to all different areas. Mentally, you will not outwork me. You will not outdo me mentally. And then I learned to play chess and understood the rules of chess. And it was like, okay, could apply that to life. I watched a lot of Kung Fu movies growing up and took those principles to heart. So there was a lot of mixtures of things that I kind of put into my little melting pot, light my flame at the bottom, and did my alchemy. And you know, had a child young. Went through a really difficult time having a child at 19 years of age.
Well, you're still a child.
I'm a child. I know nothing. Absolutely nothing. And I got to try and figure this out and make mistakes every single step of the way. That cost me dearly. And you got to figure out how to wake up the next morning and go again and go again. And they don't think that there haven't been moments where I haven't sat down and be like, all right, this is it. I can clock out. And then you
Unpack that. What do you mean?
you take your own life.
Right.
Right? And you sit down and you say, all right, I gone. Because I can't deal with this no more. Those are the moments where now, knowing that I have God, and I've always had a relationship with God, and I ain't never turning my back on God, I would then use those moments to listen. And say, okay, God, now I'm at this place. I know you really don't want me to do this. So talk to me here. Because I can't. Last week I said it when I came home from the hospital. I just said, God, it's too much. Right now, it is too much. I don't know how to do this. All of this at once right now is far too much. And when that next day and it happened, I said, I wasn't planning to be in Barbados, but I am going. Because if I don't leave here right now and get away, my mental and emotional state is hurting bad. What do I have here right now that is going to help me ease that? There's nothing. But I know if I go home and I go in the water and I see my son, I see my friends, I ain't see him forever. I ain't done crop over in 6 years. I'll go up on the road and see people that I ain't see, smile with, listen to some music, and then go diving. I love diving. Go diving, get underneath the water, get that silence, reset, recalibrate. And that's what this whole week has allowed me to do. And that is how I've been looking at my mental fortitude of how I get through things constantly. If I am running a mile and I'm exhausted, the last 100, I can run even harder than everything I ran before that. I am that type of person. If I'm doing a workout and it's the last round and it's the last couple, I can go even harder than I did rounds 1 through 3 to prove a point. I time my workouts. If I see the first round was 7 minutes, I want the next round to be 6 and the next round to be 5.5 and the last one to be 4 or 4.5 or 5. I must beat the time before to show that I am going to beat myself. 7 minutes was too lazy, Sean. You could do better. Oh, you did 6? Okay, can you do better than 6? Oh, you can do 5.5? Oh, can you do better than 5.5? Oh, can you do 5? All right, cool. Good. Now you know that's your standard. Start there the next time you get ready. And if you don't hit it, fight to get yourself back there so that I'm always challenging myself. Always, 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 always. I will not accept mediocrity from Sean Field.
Right.
Period. in nothing that I do.
I want to go back to when did you lose your mom?
March 12th this year.
This year. So this is fresh.
Very.
My condolences.
Thanks.
I didn't know it was that fresh.
Yeah. It was impossible.
And you said you were diagnosed with cancer. I knew that part. And how many years ago was that?
That was 4 years. Well, so my diagnosis was June 19th, 2021. And I had what was called an incidental finding. So backtrack from that a couple of weeks. I was in St. Lucia. I had never taken like an adult vacation. I've gone all these places, but most of them for work, right? You see me in a fete, you see me on stage, I work and I work and I work and I work. And you see me in St. Vincent, I work in Trinidad, I work in all these places, beautiful, but I'm at work. So I was like, I can take an actual vacation. And it was pandemic time. So yeah, I took 6 weeks, went to St. Lucia. While I was there, I was like, let me get my diving certification, something I always wanted to do, did that. My ankle swelled up. I knew I got a metal plate, 6 screws in my ankle. So I was like, maybe there's a problem there. I came back. I went to Miami to go to work. My ankle swelled up again. I said, something not right. I said, you know what? You're carrying a couple of extra pounds. Time to get your workout on. Let me go. Went to go for a run. Could not run half a mile. My whole leg seized up. I said, something wrong. I play football forever. How come I can't run? So I come home. I said, let me do some calisthenics, doing some sit-ups, and I feel this pain in my heart. My chest tight. So I went and lay down. When I lay down, chest pain went away. When I sit up, chest pain come back. So I called my dad. I said, Dad, you had a heart attack. What did it feel like? So he said, and he explaining. He called my boy, his wife. She's a pulmonologist. She said, go to emergency. No. I lived near enough to the emergency that I could just call it Uber. He was outside in a minute and a half. I was at the ER. They hook you up. And they said, oh, yeah, we could tell there's something going on. Your heart pumping. Something's not right. We can run tests. They run all these tests. This was like 4 in the evening. About 4 in the morning, they finish. And he says, okay, we see this mass near your kidney. Go have that looked at, but your heart is all right. So I went home. I get home about 6:30, and I sit down on the sofa, and all I studying is my heart, something wrong with my heart. And they give me a printout of like 10 pages, which I didn't even read. I just put it there. The next day, my boy's wife called and says, read to me what I read. So I reading it off first page. And when I get to the last thing, it says a mass near your kidney, and it had like, 7.3 centimeters. But she said, whoa, read that again? So I read it again. She said, Sean, call your doctor. So I said, well, what does that mean? She said, well, I don't want to say it. Just call your doctor. So I called my doctor. My doctor said, come in tomorrow. That is Thursday. It's Friday now. So Friday, I gone to the doctor. She said, I can run all these tests for you. I can run everything. I said, run everything because I don't know what's wrong. So she said, the only test I can do today is your MRI. You will go and do that tomorrow, June 19th, Juneteenth. So I was like, all right, let me go. Juneteenth, I gone. I do the MRI. I left. I said, look, I like these plants. I was walking down the street. I see a plant store. I said, let me buy some plants. So they tell me just buy some plants. Now I got 38 plants. Right? But at that time, I had no plants. I buy some plants. I bring them home. And over there, they have an app called My Chart. And all of your medical records are in it. And all of their communication to you is through that. So I get in, and 10 o'clock that night, my phone start going off. Test results coming in. So I going through and I look in negative. Then it said, your MRI results are in. So I click on it and I read in. And I didn't see at the bottom that it was a thing to click for pictures. So I just read the information. And it had like, such and such equals 1, this and that equals 2, And then at the end it said nephrectomy score equals 9. So I was like, well, what do you ask that mean? So I typed everything it said into Google and hit enter. And it said nephrectomy score is the gauge that we use to determine the level of kidney cancer you have. And I said, who?
What?
I said, type that again, not cancer. And it was like, no, Sean, you have cancer. And I was like, no, Google, you're wrong.
So you found out about you having cancer from Google? As you were saying?
Yeah, so nephrectomy scores work 0 through 12. 10 to 12 is death, and I'm a 9. And I'm sitting in my apartment at 10 o'clock at night, bawling my eyes out, going, what the ass is this? Sunday, so it's a Saturday, ain't no doctor can talk to you Saturday night. Sunday, ain't no doctor can talk to you Sunday morning. I go on YouTube. At first I went on Google, Black Caribbean man with kidney cancer. Nothing. Black man with kidney cancer. Nothing. Black people with kidney cancer. Oh, the kidney cancer thing, YouTube channel. Like, go on, I watch this black woman talk about it. I scrolled through all the videos. I did not see a black man. So I said something ain't right. So I went to the most recent videos and I clicked, and this Chinese woman was there, and she was young. She said, I'm a runner. And she started crying. She said the hardest part was when I had to learn to walk again. I said, what do you... Wait, curse? I almost just cursed, sorry.
Do you?
I was like, big man, what do you mean learn to walk again? What am I about to go through? Monday, call my doctor. She said, call this man, this doctor, no. So up to now, nobody still didn't tell me nothing. I called the doctor. The secretary, this man answered calling service. And he can tell me, yeah, we don't have any appointments for another 6 weeks. So I said, okay, all right, no problem, thank you. He says, but give me your social information. Let me pull up your my chart. I said, give it to him. I said, Mr. Phil, you can hold on a minute. I said, yeah. Come back. He says, I need you to hold on. Don't go anywhere. Stay on the call for a good 5 minutes. I said, okay. 5 minutes later, he come by. He says, please don't go anywhere. I got the secretary coming to you. Secretary come get on the phone. Hi, Mr. Field, can you come in tomorrow morning at 8:15? I said, you went from 6 weeks to tomorrow morning. Clearly, this is serious. I went in the next morning, and the man walked in, and he said exact words, rough weekend, I suppose. Not hello, good morning, my name is such and such, nothing. Rough weekend, I suppose. I said, yeah. He says, well, you have kidney cancer. We're going to need to remove your kidney right away because you're at stage 3A, you're on death's doorstep.
Oh, shoot. Just say that. He just...
And I need you to come over here and drop your pants so that I could... I come over, I drop my pants. He says, oh, I'm going to have to stick a finger in your butt. I was like, my mind right now. And he was like, so what do you do for a living? I'm a creative. He said, listen, talk to me. What? And he was like, yeah. He said, but I see here that you had a blood clot in your lung before. I said, yeah, and one in my brain. He said, well, I'm going to now need you to go and see cardiologists, oncologists, hematologists, everybody with an IST I had to go and see. And he said, you're the highest risk for death during surgery because we've got cut off the valve to the kidneys for the blood flow, and that could cause clotting. And since you've had two already, this is the number one cause of death from this surgery. Hope you have a good day, sir. I was like...
But wait, this man so dry, though.
Just dry and dread with it. Just because I'm 9 months away from death and I don't know it. So they don't know how much longer they can allow it to sit. So they got to be as drastic as possible to get me to understand how serious it is. But I still got to get clearance from all these doctors. So the next 19 days of doctors, 36 vials of blood draw, all kind of madness in my life. And now I gotta go, I have this procedure. So I started doing, from that night, I started doing these videos where I would talk to myself on video and just sometimes cry, whatever, just so that I could talk it out. Because up to then, I had a therapist, nobody to talk to. And I wasn't telling people. Because one, I was afraid that I was gonna die the day of the surgery. Because he put that in my head. So now I'm like, okay, well, I guess if this is what's gonna happen, these are my last few weeks on the planet. Do I want to really go around telling people they got cancer? Because I've told one or two and I could see they start crying, it bring the room down. So I going out to fetes. I at fetes with people, friends, partying. Nobody don't know I got cancer. And I would just go and sit in for a minute and just look around and look at everybody and take any moment, watch these smiles, these little conversations. People had no idea. And then now I had to then prepare my children. And as if that's the last day, because you don't know, you might not come out of the surgery. And then I took that picture and put it in the group chat that I have because I thought that was it. So it was the last picture I was going to send my family. And Baz love you so much. Baz was like, as I went under, Baz was like, right, we doing a GoFundMe. I said, I don't want it. I tell her, absolutely not. And she waited until I went under and she did it anyhow. So when I woke up now from surgery, which was a surprise, and I eventually get to my phone at 116 messages. And so I scrolled to the very first one. And it was like, yeah, big man, listen, you get hot because somebody using your picture for some fake cancer GoFundMe. I said, oh, shit. So that's how I found out about GoFundMe. So then I go and I see that. And I was like, shit, they put it out. And the next 3 messages was people all thinking it was fake. So that's when I posted and I was like, no, this is real. And then I came out and talked about it. But from the second I came out and spoke about it, it made me realize, wait, what you were looking for in a Black Caribbean man to talk about this experience is you are now him. You have a responsibility from this day forward that you are awake to talk about this thing to anybody and everybody that you can, especially if they're a Black Caribbean man, to let them know foods, whatever else it might be, because they did every test under the sun for me. And in the end, the doctor said shit happens is the reason that I end up with kidney cancer.
Say that again. He said what?
Yeah. They tested everything. They said the number 1 cause of kidney cancer is eating red meat. I ain't eat meat since 1997. So eliminate that. Number 2 is a high sodium diet. My mother had her thyroid removed when I was 12 and stopped cooking with salt at 12. I don't use salt. Remove that. Number 3 is smoking cigarettes. Remove that. Number 4 now, by now, all right? So number 4 now was drinking heavy alcohol. I ain't had a drink in 6 years. So the man is like, well, look, all of these things, so we're going to test your genetics, and test the genetics. And in the end, he's like, look, everything says shit happens. He's like, that's the best that we could tell you. We don't know rhyme or reason why. He said, sometimes you have somebody who smoked 2 packs of cigarettes a day, live to be 120 years and never have cancer. You have somebody who never smoked. My mother never smoked. My mother ended up with cancer in her thyroid and her throat that went down into her lung and then eventually into her liver. And it spread so aggressively, and she tried everything for 3 years because I now have the surgery, and for a month got to sleep on a sofa and hunched over, got pain out of this world, scarring, all kind of things. And she's there with me for the first 30 days. And then she said, well, I got to go and get an exam done now to find out, because we thought she had like acid reflux. Boom, she get diagnosed. So just as I thought I was coming out of something, I was going right back into it for the last 3 years. But luckily, they provided me a mental health therapist for the Monday I got out of the hospital. I got out Sunday, Monday morning, she was on the phone. And I've been with her for the last 4 years. And as she said to me, do you know why you're seeing me? I said, yeah, well, I had cancer. She said, no. I need to explain to you. Think about the woman that was gang raped by 20 men and has a child from them and has to see those men every single day for the rest of her life. She said, I deal with people who have those types of issues that are very, very dread and very serious. She said, so if you're seeing me, I'm a specialist. And I was like, oh, right. So what you're telling me is what I went through is not normal. She said, absolutely not. And I've watched 3 friends of my mother die in the last 4 years. And I got a friend dying right now. And the guilt that you just feel is one thing. But the fact that you can't help and somehow a surgery was able to help you is tough to swallow on a day-to-day basis. And yesterday walk in the grocery store, a woman see me, saw Caleb, says, oh, you're Marva Field's grandson. Yes, you're her son. How's your mom doing? Then I had to tell her. And then I can't walk to the grocery store, and now I'm in the aisle crying. I on the road, Kaduma Day, somebody else was, hey, man, it's good to see you. How's your mom? I had to tell them. Next, I pull square on the road, Kaduma, and I crying. You don't know what people are walking around dealing with on a regular day-to-day basis. You see them, they smile, everything look good, everything look cool. But the reality is, I push my mother into an oven and push a button and watch her body burn. After being in a hospital with her, feeding her ice chips, being in an ambulance, watching her take her last breath. After knowing that I lost 3 friends on top of that, and yet somehow I survived this, is a mind.
Yeah.
And so that's why I needed to come home, ease my mind, ease my soul. But it's also why I want to talk about it, because our food is important, what we eating. Our minds are important, what we thinking. Our mouths are important, what we saying. And our actions are important, what we doing. So we can't really understand what we don't know. When we talk about God, things that we don't know, we'll never fathom. Just like we can't understand system, anti-Babylon, and what they're putting in place, what might be in a food, what might be in a product, what might be being done on purpose, what might not be done, but just for profit.
Greed. Yeah.
Right? And so you got to do your best to take care of you every single day, the best you possibly can. Because you're going to go through it.
And I guess the education part is important because people don't know. They're not aware. And we would say we plug into the matrix, right? So when you unplug and then you realize what real life really is. Because I guess like right now you're seeing the world different.
Completely.
Very different.
Completely. And it's why I've said yes to everything. Like, I came out of that hospital and I said, okay, you're alive. You got to learn to walk again. What are the things that you have always loved doing that you have never done, that you were just afraid to do for one reason or the other, or made excuses for why you couldn't do them? I love comics, Comic-Con, cosplay, all of that. Never did it. I went months later, first cosplay. I've been Comic-Con every year since then. Went to Japan this year, cosplay there. Diving. I had just got my certification beforehand. I've been diving every single year since then. Star Wars figures. I love collecting Star Wars figures. I got a whole collection of Star Wars figures now that I collect. All the things that I've wanted to do that I've been like timid about, nah, I doing it. I going hard and doing it, because you don't know that tomorrow you ain't gonna wake up dead. So if you don't do the things that you want to do, because I hear a lot of people, and I talk to older people too, and I will hear people in their 70s say, man, I worked so hard, and now I get to this point that I want to enjoy life, but I got medical and I got this and I can't enjoy it. So you work hard, you get all the money, you did all of that, but you sacrificed your happiness along the way. And I think a lot of us sacrifice our happiness for these goals, miss adding to the tool belt of yourself, and all of a sudden wake up one day unable to enjoy it physically, and then now what?
Life is happening now.
It is happening now, today, right this second, and it ain't guaranteed to happen tomorrow, the next second from now. And what happened yesterday done gone. And what happened 10 minutes ago, the conversation we started, over and done with. We are here now. And I think a lot of people either get stuck holding on to a past thing or wishing for a future thing, and not really studying
Being
a now
present.
thing, right? And being so present is so, that's why diving is brilliant. Because when you get underwater, you hear nothing. Maybe a boat passing by. But a fish could swim behind you, next to you, then you ain't no. The most I heard was me saying, "Oh, Russell," through the thing. When I see the turtle this big, I just right, like that's the most you can hear, right?
Listen, but hearing your story, from the beginning, up to this point is very deep. It has its, it got its peaks, it has its valleys, and that is life in general. And but the main thing that I am taking away here is to act now, move now. Like if there's something that you want to pursue it. No, if you hear no, let go, but keep going after it. So don't sit down, don't be timid, don't wait, because we do not have tomorrow put down
at all.
And if you hear no, let it go, because you don't have tomorrow put down. So it don't make no sense pining and sulking over it. At the end of the day, compared to like all the bad things that can happen, the unfortunate things that can happen, that's very small. You getting turned on in a role is very small,
tiny,
compared to the things that you've been through. At the same time, if you don't move, because of how short our life is, just do it. Just move, take the risk, and just at the same, it's like I'm trying to find like the right words, but it's like it has a double side to it. I don't know the right term how to communicate it, but it's like you act with urgency, but don't take it seriously.
Correct. Correct. There's like some martial arts principles in there. Like what I tell myself is a phrase that I don't know if I where I got it from, if it's something that I just asked myself one day. But from that moment, I say this to myself all the time. In the grand scheme of your life, how important is this? Whatever the thing is that's happening in that moment, in the grand scheme of your whole existence of life, how big is this?
Yeah.
And that's how it has become so easy to let a lot of things just go.
Yeah.
The other thing is, when you are sitting on death's doorstep, in the kind of way that I was sitting on death's doorstep, and you gotta spend 16 months walking and all them kind of things that you gotta go through, and the hell of it.
Months, though.
I have 4 surgeries in 5 years. Right? Nobody wants 4 surgeries in 5 years. Your body don't want it. You don't want it. The recovery process is terrible. And you gotta wait for your abdomen to literally cut a hole through a muscle that ain't supposed to have nothing cut through it.
Wow.
So you gotta wait for them fibers to do that and gain strength just so you can stand up straight. Right? Like,
it's crazy.
So when you go through all of them kind of things, the grand scheme of your life, how important is this? Right? Like, then you start to be able to filter and put things away in perspective real easy, and take the risks and do the things. Like, I planned my trip to Japan last year, May. I didn't know my mom was going to pass in March. And then her funeral will be coming up right before my trip to Japan.
And that's another thing. You could plan, but
so God was like, yeah, I can give you
control.
I can give you that little Japan trip after your mom passing, because I can send you to shrines, and you can go to temples at 1,200 years old. You can go to places to pray for her, in a place that thrives on bowing, peace, stillness, give thanks to everything, gratitude. Like walking in and seeing the monks having a meeting, and then everybody comes out and cleans. And now that I've just finished level 1 Japanese, my instructor telling us that's how it is. And I'm like, yes, I saw it. And that was the piece I needed after her passing. Because I don't think, I was like, oh, I'll come home, or I might do. No, it took going to a place where I don't know the language. I don't know nobody.
It's unfamiliar.
It's all unfamiliar. And I have to find a peace through this pain in this space at this time. And it worked flawlessly. And I was so grateful, which is why I came back and was like, yeah, let me sign up for some Japanese and learn this language. Let me go back again. Let me keep, attaching myself more to what I'm seeing there in their culture and their way of being.
Yeah.
Because there's that piece that I got that I know, I know that is there. Just like coming here. I know my mental state could be eased coming to Barbados. I know what I get going to St. Lucia. Now I know I get going to Japan.
Yeah. Sorry, Sean. There's a lot to take in.
Yeah,
this is one of the longest recordings we did.
And it's a heavy one.
It's heavy. It's heavy. It has depth, and I actually learned a lot too as well in the conversation. There's a lot of things that you went through that I didn't completely understand, because it's only so much you can tell from social media. And but again, like that part that you went partying and you went being around people, but no one had a clue that you had cancer or you were diagnosed with this thing, and you in your mind saying, yo, like this is my last time I'm gonna be seeing this buddy. You greeting this person greeting you, and it just coming across to them as, yeah, Sean just pop back in, and but they didn't have a clue like what is on your shoulders, what is on your mind. All right, so I mean, we're gonna start the land plane soon, because I think this was 2 hours.
Corblet.
My with the Beijing code.
All right then.
Yeah, man.
Tune, by the way.
You would say that you have the support needed?
Yes. Support is an interesting word in terms of how and where it comes from.
Right.
Whenever I acted and I played any role, when I was finished, I would get sick. I would get like nasal sick, all of that, like for 24 hours. And what I would need every time is to see my son. And once I saw Caleb, because he was young, he would bring me back to daddy. And I could reconnect, and then everything would be good. So he's a great support from that perspective.
Right.
Still to this day. Obviously, your family is there. Your friends are there. You got people. My therapist, however, as I've told people, it's one thing to talk to your friends and your family who know you, know things about you, know your background, know your upbringing, can remember that time you skinned your knee, all kind of thing. But a therapist doesn't know you like that. And they're a trained professional. So they could tell you things and hear things that you saying that you didn't even realize was what you were saying. They analyze things very different to how a family member might give you a piece of advice or tell you to deal with a certain situation. And therapy is important. Regardless of if you're going through what you think might be tough or not, everybody should be in therapy. Like everybody.
Yeah.
And especially men, and especially black men, because we go through things that I don't think a lot of the times people study as a man that you're going through and give credit for, right? And I'm not looking at like gender roles or anything like that. I'm just saying that as black men, knowing history, knowing that you were enslaved from an ancestral standpoint, that people, when they saw you, saw fear. People, when they saw you, saw somebody that they wanted to destroy, that they wanted to put to work, that they wanted to control and own. And through ancestry and people losing their lives and all kind of things, here you are today. And you got to stand up and step out into the world with the weight of that on your back every single day, put a smile on your face, go out there and do work. And you're in a country like Barbados that has tourism. And you got a lot of people that come into the country who are also the ancestors of the people who did that to your ancestors. Right? And now you can't pinpoint and you don't know whatever. But you know one thing for sure. They're not walking around with the weight of, my ancestors did X, Y, and Z to somebody. As a black man, you know you have that. Because you walk into certain places and you could see the tightness at times. You ain't even do nothing. You could be on a plane and you see it. You're on a plane 30,000 feet in the air. Where are you going? What can happen to you? And so you got to go to work. You got to be daddy. You got to be husband. You got to be friend.
Still got to function.
You got to function. And okay, yeah, you're going to go fire a drink with the boys, or you're going to go up with a lime, or you're going to whatever.
Buffers.
That is not therapy. Right? And so at the end of the day, when you're dealing with your problems and your issues and they come out and however they come out, because they can come out in all kinds of ways, good, bad, and indifferent. They can come out and you got to deal with them. And when you're not dealing with them, you're seen as, man, he just or he just be so angry, or he, but you don't know what this person is dealing with. And as black men, we are living that daily. And I'm not saying that other people ain't living it daily too, but it's very different being inside of the skin, right? And now you also have a responsibility to protect Black women. Add all of that together and put that weight on your shoulder every day when you step out the house. God bless with the... Yes, Black men deserve some credit and need to be in therapy. And the more we're in therapy, the better we will be and be able to function better, and then hopefully get some of that credit. But I think it also starts with Black man to Black man.
Yeah, yeah. And there's a lot of cases where we can say young people getting in trouble, they get locked up, they're doing this, they're doing that, they end up in the court papers or whatever. But I don't think we ever really look at it from like a mental condition situation. We always look at it as he's a criminal, labeled right off. But I don't know if the society and the country really thinks about, okay, what are these men really going through? What is happening in their minds? So I don't think the problem is going to get fixed the way how we handling it right now. You got a set of people that would say, okay, the girls will come together and they saw it from school, like girls would be coached in a certain way. And then it was, okay, stay away from this type of boy, this type of man, you know. But who's coaching the boys?
I remember being 12. They take all the girls, they carry them into a room, right? And they talk to all the girls. And then they come out when nobody talked to any boys. And then what was the conversation? Oh, they were talking about the period and this and that. So. They said, but wait, y'all had a whole conversation about your life and about things that can happen.
Nobody don't talk to
Nobody
boys
tell
about
me
that?
nothing. I didn't know that my voice was going to change. It was just like, oh, your balls dropped. No, I'm like, like, then the explanation, nobody don't talk to you about these things.
Yeah.
You just got to figure it out.
Yeah.
How do you raise a family? Right? Okay, so as a woman now, you might get a nourishment, you might get some nurturing, you might get taught some things, your mother might pass on this and that, so on and so forth. Okay, and now as a father, your father can pass on X, Y, and Z. But there's supposed to be this like magical just understanding that you can wake up as a man and know, I know how to balance a checkbook, and I know how to make my wife happy, and I know how to deal with these kids, and I know how to do my job and everything. We are good.
And a father could only pass on what he know.
That is it.
And if those are the fathers that you are producing, then what can happen? You understand? So that's
continuing.
Exactly, is a cycle that just going round and round. So we have the girls being coached. This is how you deal with your period. This is who you should stay away from, and and then the men not being coached. So then it's a situation where you come up in adult life. What do you think is actually happening here? Why do you think there's such a disconnect?
Mm-hmm. And the men taking longer to mature because of that.
For sure.
Because now you got to just hang out with your friends. You're going to learn from your friends. Well, all y'all immature together, so you cool.
Yeah.
Far more women going to get university degree and come out and say, okay, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I'm going to go forward here. I'm going to do this. Right? Then you see men at the same age. Men like, man, I can go and hold this job or play a sport or whatever it might be, but I done with education, I done with school, I can shift that. Unless you have somebody pushing you to make sure you can go to school as a young man to get that college degree and do that thing. So you see it as clear as day, and you could also see ways to make it better, but just like the ceiling, the whole country got to partake. This is a whole country's effort, because I will hear people talking about how bad somebody is and these men and crime and so on and so forth. And they are educated person and they have a home and own property and all kind of things. And then I will listen to them say things that are so misogynistic and I'm like looking at them and they think that that's also okay.
They think it's normal.
They think that's normal. And I'm going, boy, whoa, this is a tough conversation to have with you, because you don't even see where your wrongness is going in this direction, but you want to talk about somebody else and you don't even know the person. You're just talking about them to talk. right? And I
Yeah, the
hear,
clang of your eye.
and again, what he might say, who gonna cast the first stone? That's what we really like. People around here talking about you going to church. Don't even get me started because we talking about you going to church, right? I spend years of my life studying religion. Years of my life studying religion, not just Christianity and studying. And as I always tell people when they want to come talk to me about God and so on and so forth, I would say, look, when you can come and talk to me about like how I spent with my uncle 6 months studying Genesis chapter 1, right?
6 months.
6 months.
One chapter.
One chapter. Because that man has read the Bible 3 times back to front. So when you could spend that kind of time to understand, and now we can have a reasoning conversation. And then I could talk to you about Enoch, 7th from Adam, mentioned in Genesis, not mentioned again until the second to the last book of the Bible. Jeez on bread. That's a big gap to have a name be mentioned once that he can walk with God, and then you're reading when I read from the book of Enoch. My grandmother used to talk about, oh, you're going to be walking around here with dreadlocks and talking about Jah. I said, grand, Jah is in your Bible. Jah is not in my Bible. Turn to Psalm 68. Where she opened up Psalm, and Jah? Well, wait. I said, you read the Bible every day. You don't know what's in it. People going to read what they're good with. They're going to be, all right, cool. But when you really get in there, you want to study and you want to learn. The letter J was invented in the 1600s. How was the man named Jesus when the man named Yeshua the Messiah? Like, come on. So my name is Sean today, but you can tell me in 400 years it's going to be John? All right, cool. There's a derivative. All right, cool. And then another 400 years it's going to be Stephen. And then we're going to be praising Stephen, but my name was Sean. So we could talk, but we got to talk historically factual. We got to talk education. And we can't walk around talking about we's Christian or we's this and we that. And you don't even know what's in the same book that you hollering out for. And then you pointing your finger with that beam in your eye, not realizing the 3 fingers pointing back at you.
Facts.
Too much of that going on. And it is offset my spirit too much. Because you want to blame somebody and this and that, or she too, or he did.
Because it always make other people feel better when they could point at others. It's deflection.
Correct.
It's deflection.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. So we got to land this plane.
Yeah, that we touched on.
We land this plane. So we went deep. So let me go come out a little bit. I just want you to list a couple things that you are proud of that you have worked on. I know that you're proud of your family. Your son, how much is
2 boys?
2 boys. You post them a lot. You know that you're very fond of your boys. I want to give the community a little bit of context on like the projects that you recently work on, and that you could say that you're proud of them.
Yeah. So most recently now I'm working at the MTA, which is the Metropolitan Transportation Authority in New York City.
Right.
And very fortunate to be the creative director there. So if you ride the subways and you see anything that is an advertising, a messaging, anything that is MTA based, I produce that with my team.
Okay.
And have a large team of about 27 people, graphic designers, animators, writers, illustrator, you name it. And very proud of my team and the work that we do because, as I tell them, 8 million people a day see our work and we are servicing those people. So we are doing our work for service. 100 years from now, they ain't gonna remember us. We don't care. How do we help those people today? So that is something I'm extremely proud of on a whole. And we put out a lot of campaigns. More recently, I did a lot of work for SeaWorld, which I was really proud of the work that I did there because a lot of people have issue with SeaWorld, animals in captivity, myself included, before going into working with them. And then you get in there and you work with them and you meet the doctors and you meet the trainers and you meet the people who care for these animals, who love them more than you think you do with your righteous rights. You know, like, nah, you don't care about these animals like these people care about these animals. And you don't know the history of how a lot of these animals may have gotten there. They might start as a rescue and end up there. So that work is I'm very proud of that. And again, recently, like getting the chance to do the Ciroc campaigns that I did.
Right.
Those were huge. Those are like a big deal to me. Being able to reach back here to a Daisy and Chantel and to get the music from them, which I don't know if a lot of people know. Like when I had the opportunity to direct this, I called in home. All right, I need music. Who I could get some music from. That's something about me is I support my friends and people who doing things. I big on that. If any way I could get you in, get you through, I put Leah Marvel in one. I get music from Chantel in a Daisy in another. Like, let me go. And the ability to do those things is like, that's a level of pride that I feel very strongly over, because from the business side of it, I helped them raise their sales 14%, and it was a real good feeling, right? So a lot of those are like the more recent things that I've done for work that I feel like super, super, super proud of, that I could put out there and I could say, yeah, I've done some work, I've touched some people, I've given people jobs, a lot of people jobs, I've gotten a lot of people paid, and that feel very good. I've helped launch people's careers that I'm watching doing amazing things. And staying in touch with me still, some actors that I put in things, and having the clients still reach out to this day to say, man, the work that you did is still, like in St. Lucia Distilleries, I redid their entire rebrand.
Right.
All of Bounty Rum, all of Chairman's, did all of that. And had Andrew Jemmett here from Barbados there with me working on it, because Andrew and I do a lot of work together, whether it was doing film stuff that we do or doing design work. We did the 25th anniversary live stream of St. Lucia Jazz Festival to 8 countries, two Bajan men, right? Like,
sweet.
Yeah. So those are projects that I'm very proud of, and I'm also proud to come back here to Barbados, drive down the road and see certain things like, oh, the Dylan Amberdane logo still there, this and that. A few things still up and about. And
you left your mark.
Yeah, that is a good, very good feeling. And I'm very proud of all of those things. Like that makes me feel great. And the more that I could do for Barbados, if ever the opportunities to present, the more I want to do. Always. All
right. So there's 2 more things I want to do. I have a concept. Let me see if it's in here. All right. So I got like a couple pieces of paper in here. And my community, what they do is that they rate to my guests. So it's random, right? So you can pull a paper in here, from in here. You can read it. It's for you. It's from the people who follow the show, who's on Instagram and YouTube. They don't know who to write it for, but I want you to read it out. And it may say who it's from.
This one, cursive. All right, so this is where now the age just kick in, right? Your glasses gotta come on. Okay. In a world growing harsher by the day, seek your joy, your calm, your kindness. Then each day offer someone a small piece of your unfiltered light and watch your world quietly transform. And I know who wrote it.
Who you can say who wrote it?
At Yham 1968.
Sweet. That's for you. Take it.
Perfect. Thank you.
Stick it up somewhere.
I'll see you in a minute, Nita.
The community is Barbados is so small too. Like that's how you know.
This is it. This I was like, oh yeah. Even though it's Yham 1968, you still know even the person name in there. Yes, and Barbados is small. I know you said 2 things, so that was one.
That was one. Right. So the last thing is that I want you to, as an actor, it should be easy for you to look into the camera, and I want you to talk to Sean when he was 19, when he first heard that he was having a son.
Oof.
I want you to talk to him like if you had to visit him, what would you say to 19-year-old Sean?
Wow. All right, buddy. Listen. You really don't know what you're doing. And you know that you don't know what you're doing. You gotta take a minute at this time right now to understand that what you think about life and what you is not going the way that you think it is. Your future isn't where you might envision it right now. And it's actually going to go amazing. But for right now, your visions of it, not the same of the reality of what's going to happen. And while you might fear being a father, like is the scariest thing in the world because you are 19, you just started having sex, you're going to be really good at it. you're going to be really good at it. And it's going to be the thing that gives you the most purpose that you ever had. So I know it's daunting right now, but you got other things coming up in life that are going to be even more daunting than this, that when you get to it, this can look like cakewalk. Yeah. And the only other thing I would tell you is you did a great job choosing his name, because it's his, it belongs to no one else. So Adian Adonis Field, my son, firstborn, I love you very much. From 52-year-old me to 19-year-old your dad, and to 19-year-old Sean, you got this.
Sweet. Respect.
Thank you.
That was good.
Thank you.
And we can safely say that's a wrap.
Well, listen, I wanted to say one thing to you while we are here in our rap state.
This is longer than Lord of the Rings.
Good. Thank you. Not for me. Not for today. What you've done in creating this space, listening to the stories, some of which I was present when some of those things happened from some of those people, is brilliant. Recognizing that this country is small and that there are a lot of people who play roles to bring about all of the things that we have, entertainment, whatever it might be. Giving them an opportunity and a platform to talk just candidly to a friend is unheard of in a country like this. And we need it. We need it because Peter Coppin, I know for years, watching his episode, goosebumps. Right? Watching other friends, goosebumps. Knowing some of these stories and then not knowing some of these stories. It gives a level of appreciation and respect for your fellow man, woman, Bajan that some people may not have. Some people might look at some of us walking around, don't know who they is. No, who is that? They don't care. It gives people an opportunity to see us in a way that they may not have ever seen us before. And knowing your journey and you getting behind the camera and to see this, I really, really want to say thank you. Full respect to you. Because this ain't easy. No. Anybody who think it is, it ain't easy.
No.
You got to learn all the equipment. You got to learn all these things. You got to put it together. You got to call the people. You got to have a team. You got to edit it. You got to produce it. You got to market it. You got to put it out. You got to do it with no money coming out of your own pocket. All of that, right? And so I'm very, 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 very grateful because I was watching it from afar. You know, it's like when mommy passed and we got flying fish for the funeral. And some cousins and uncles came that haven't been home in 20 plus years and live in Virginia. And there is nothing Bajan nearby. And to eat a fish cake or to have a flying fish was the biggest deal to them.
Wow.
Being in New York every day and not being home, yeah, I could go into Brooklyn and I could get you food, but I can't come and see you. And so seeing the people through this channel, yeah, it means a lot. So thank you. I the second you asked, I said yes, by hook or crook, because I appreciate being included.
Yeah.
And two, I know the value that this has for everybody, including yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. For sure.
Watching you go through child, watching you get married, watching your happiness, Dread. That is a joy that it feels so good.
Yeah.
It feels so good to see it. And then your adventures and then what going on with you. Like, it's a great feeling, man. So thank you. Now we've landed the plane. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. You can pick up your bags. Baggage claim too.
I respect that, man. I mean, as I said it many times, like, I'm driven to do it. I saw that there was a need. There's obviously a divine power that is beneath all of this. the way how things come together. And when you, as I said, gems from friends, sometimes you might think that it's just a friend that I say, with, yes, it is a friend, but the fact is now turning to everybody is a gem that listening to the friends, that because you are afar and you're now sitting down and you're listening to the same friends. You get what I'm saying? So everything is connected.
Oh, yeah.
So I want everybody that watching to know that everybody here is friends. We are all friends. So gems from friends is not just like the friends that is in front of me in the moment, but everybody that is in the community who watching, who's commenting, who's subscribing, all that.
Yeah.
No, but that they're rating and
I like that.
You know what I mean?
I like that, Karen. Thank you.
All right.
No, that was good, man. Thank you again. Big up gems from friends and all of Barbados. I gonna put my darkers on. Roll and take it on.
And that's a wrap. We going. This project is made possible in part by the Cultural Industries Development Fund of the National Cultural Foundation of Barbados.